Hello. Okay, I don't see myself on Skype. I just see me here on Indie Horror TV on the website. I cannot hear myself talk, and I'm a little time delayed also. But I'm here, and I'm ready to answer all kinds of questions. So I assume I don't type the answers. I just say the answers to the questions. So exactly. Okay, so I'm ready if somebody has a question. Oh, let's see, I have to scroll all the way up. I hope you all liked the movie Rampage. And I think this is what was showing today on Indie Horror TV. And it's one of the movies I'm really proud of. And I'm really happy that I did the movie, and it fits to a lot of movies I actually did about that subject matter. Starting with my German movie Run Amok, about a guy, basically a serial murderer, who in the end of the movie runs amok. This was from 1993 or 4, and then going later in Heart of America about school violence, the movie, and then Rampage, and now the new one, Assault on Wall Street, where a guy runs amok on Wall Street basically and kills the bankers. So I have a lot of movies made on subject matters where something happens, like isolation, people flipping out on each other, or I want to fill that black box why people actually do something like this. So the first question here was, how involved were safety issues with the immense explosions that took place in Rampage? Yeah, so there was a lot of stunt people in Rampage involved, and Jack FX, who he did all the explosions, and in the car the bullet holes, and of course also the huge explosion in the police office. So what we did there was this: we rented in a small town by Vancouver, like that road basically, where we filmed that car driving almost into the police office, and we built it the forefront new with glass, and so we had actually the car driving through the glass into that building, and then we shot the explosion and the inside of the building, where the cops opening the doors and the thing actually explodes, the beginning of the explosion, and the actual explosion, what was real, was like not with CGI enhanced. It was that explosion had that kind of power. We shot that on a huge parking spot in the suburbs here in Vancouver, and blowed that whole thing up. And it was with, I would say, from all my movies, with the explosion in House of the Dead of the whole house, and the explosion in Postal, where we blowed up the trailer in the trailer park, what also Jack did. These were the biggest explosions I ever did. So this was actually massive. And yeah, so of course you have to proceed with the safety issues, and whenever you use guns on set, for example, you have to make sure that not only that you use blanks, but also that you don't stay directly in front. You tell all the actors, don't aim directly at the guy, aim a little left or right off. And so this is basically the situation, you know. So, and yeah, of course, all the explosions is a locked up set, and nobody's there. I remember on House of the Dead, this was the biggest disaster, like where the actual house, we blowed the house away in the very end of the movie in the Mount Seymour forest, and it was like 240 kilos of explosive to blow the house up. So if you think now about the Boston bomb people, they had like 3 or 4 kilos black powder exploding. We had 240 kilos in House of the Dead. So if there were people standing around, we would have like hundreds and hundreds of dead people. So Yeah, and it took like 4 or 5 hours where the set was locked up. We had like 3, 4 cameras, one camera ducked up in the hole in front of the house, where actually the door from the house fell into the lens. So most of our filmmakers shoot from very small budgets. Can you tell us what the challenges are of dealing with larger budgets and shooting films for larger studios? I mean, I always produced my movies on my own, and I had studios only as distribution companies. So I never had actually really people above me or talking, or they could change something. You know, we had situations later where distributors wanted to change the edit and say, look, can you not do it again? Can you not do different music or whatever? And I'm always open for proposals, but I'm also like cost effective. So I cannot like keep mixing a movie or keep working on it forever. I also have to get it out there. And this helps because we were really fast shooting always, and moving quick on set. If you don't have to discuss with too many people about it, you know. So, but of course, you have like I did movies for $60,000. Like Run Amok was 150,000. German Fred movie was 60,000. My first movie. So my budgets growed over time, and now I come back in the last few years more back to smaller budgets, back to 2, 3, 4 million budgets with Stoic, with Darfur, with Rampage, because the big times where I could raise a lot of money or sell for so much money, you could recoup 20 million for Alone in the Dark or Bloodrayne and In the Name of the King and stuff like this. These days are over. The movie industry is in big shit basically, and it's very tough to get movies financed. Ben Kingsley is a legendary actor. As a director, was he difficult to deal with in terms of your ideas for his character in Bloodrayne versus what he may have thought? The thing was this: I think Ben Kingsley and I were on the same page in regards of the character. We felt this is a guy who's alive since 300, 400, 500 years, and he doesn't care anymore. So he has to play that person ice cold. He still wants to be like the winner, but at the same time, he plays the guy like kind of like not attached anymore, and oh, I'm not anymore on screen, or I'm still on screen. I don't know. So and he had the biggest problem was basically Michael Madsen, who worked with Ben Kingsley on Species, and they hated each other. And Ben Kingsley told me when Michael Madsen he had no clue that Michael Madsen was in the movie till he came to set, basically. And then he said, like, oh my God, if I would known that Michael Madsen is in that movie, I would not I would never did that movie. And he said, I'm not shooting any scene with him together. Then Michael Madsen got that. Somebody told him this, and so he came to set and said, "Hey Ben, what do you want to do? Huh? You don't want to have me on set, you prick, whatever." And Michael Madsen was drunk, like always, and he was difficult, and it was like, what? Rocky, live in front of you. Refresh if you don't see. Also, this is okay. Yeah, but this is the thing. So we basically, if you see in Bloodrayne, Ben Kingsley from behind or Michael Madsen from behind, then it's actually because they were not shooting together. Like it was always stunt doubles, and we had to shoot over shoulder, turn around, the other over shoulder. And Ben Kingsley said, "I will not accept that Michael Madsen comes too close to me with a sword." You know, he was scared that Michael Madsen is losing it and stabbing him by accident. And so this was about the Ben Kingsley thing. And since you tackle this subject matter pretty often, do you think make movies to say something that you see in people or society, or is it to solely to create something that entertains people? No, the reality is this. I made a lot of movies just to entertain people and there's no message in it. It's just trying to make a genre movie. And this is Alone in the Dark, House of the Dead, Bloodrayne, In the Name of the King. But there are also movies where I really put my impact in like political or what I think about the world. And this started again after I did it very early in my career always. Then I started writing again with Postal. And since then, I did a lot of movies where I put a lot of emotional and also intellectual things in what I think sucks or what I think is wrong in society. And I try to make that actually interesting, you know. So for people, I still try to entertain the people, but at the same time, I reflect what I think about the world. And so this is basically how I tackle this, and that kind of isolation, running amok, why people do that or why people do extreme things is it's basically haunting me, you know. Like I always was interested in that subject matter. I'm not interested in why people love each other, you know. Like, it's like maybe I'm privately interested, but not as a movie maker. As a movie maker, I'm more interested in why people kill each other. And this kind of thing is for me a driving force through all my my work. And yeah, you know, so I love that subject matter, to find out why people do something. And yeah, one of my friends, Matthew McCabe, worked with you on set of Houses of That. He said it was fun working on it. Do you enjoy working with the same crews? Yeah, absolutely. For example, I think with Jonathan Shaw for post supervising, I did 25 movies. Matthias Neumann, my DP from Frankfurt, I did 25 movies with. And Sean Williamson and Dan Clark, productions partners here and line producers, I did 25, 26 movies with. I like working with the same people. Jessica DeRoy for music. I love Thomas Sabinski as an editor. He did Rampage. He did Darfur. He did Stoic. He did Now in the Name of the King 3. And I think he's the best editor I worked with on all my movies. And I mean, Julian Clark was great, the Postal editor, who got an Oscar nomination later for that movie he did with Neil Blomkamp, the sci-fi movie in South Africa, what Peter Jackson produced. I don't even know the name anymore, but maybe you remember the name. But I mean, I like working with same people also in regards of actors. A lot of times I have Michael Pare in my movies, or Clint Howard, people I personally like. And now I like Dominic Purcell a lot, who I did the first movie with last year, with The South on Wall Street, what will come out May 10 on VOD and in few theaters in LA and New York. And it makes me comfortable. And with Matthias, my DP, I don't even have to talk about stuff anymore, you know. So it's just like, we know each other so good. This is perfect for me to work with the same crews. Hollywood actors can be skeeter. Yeah, they absolutely are. You've written about half of the movies you directed. Do you prefer directing your own materials versus someone else? Have you written anything that someone else has directed? No. Everything what I wrote, I directed also, and I absolutely prefer directing my own stuff. I'm way more into it than in movies like Rampage, I think, are also clearly better as my video game based movies, for example. And for example, on Rampage, I was sitting down and thought about, like, what is a movie I would love to watch, and Rampage definitely is a creation of that. Like, a movie starting like an art house movie, turning into a huge action movie, and then with a very bitter, cynical twist. Like, what is the twist? I mean, twist is, if you're ruthless enough today, you get away with it. And this is also like in my South on Wall Street movie. The original title was Bailout: Age of Greed. I think this is the point for me to actually make that kind of movies, to show, to put a mirror in front of the world, and to say, look guys, uh, this is how it is, this is how I feel about that. And I think a lot of Wall Street bankers or whatever are just evil, so let me move this over here. See, perfect. Now I changed the cameras and I look a little more on the camera because I have two computers at the same time here going. What was the most challenging film you have made, and why? Budget, time, and script. I think different answers necessary. I think shooting wise, In the Name of the King has the most expensive movie, the longest shoot for like 11, 12 weeks. With the most extras, the most stuff to do, was in a way also the most challenging. But at the same time, it was also the most comfortable movie I ever did, because we had enough money for everything, and it was kind of relaxing also, that you don't have to penny crunch, and what in other movies where you really think, how I can do this. On Rampage, you have to really, really focus on the few days you have the money to do the action scenes, and then you have a lot of days where you shoot the movie with like a very small crew, fast, handheld, rough and quick, and then you spend the money for when you block the road and you buy 3 or 4 cars, you blow up and stuff like this, and you have the 10, 15 stunt people ready to go. So you have to actually see what to do with the money. So from this thing, I would say In the Name of the King. If you would ask me, the most miserable movies I ever shot were all 3 Bloodrayne movies. I mean, I love Bloodrayne, but all 3 movies were horrific to shoot. The first one in Romania, the food was ridiculous. We were all over the country, like living in the shittiest hotels, and Michael Madsen was drunk, and it was just ridiculous, and I hated it, and it was so tough. But it's also the movie where we have the most memories now about, like we saved 6 dogs and everything. So Bloodrayne 2, the Bloodrayne Deliverance of the Wild West thing, it was absolutely ridiculous. Every morning I had to drive an hour out here to border town, to the US border, and it was like snow, winter, no heat, ice, rain for the whole shoot, and we shot almost only nights. And then we had a big explosion with a gas heater, and half of the set burned down. We couldn't shoot for 2 or 3 days, and then the insurance had to cover it, and I had to change the script and explain why the railway station is not existing anymore because it blew up. It was the worst. Like Bloodrayne 2 was basically the worst, and Bloodrayne 3 in Croatia was similar. Winter, super cold. Everybody was pissing me off there, and we got robbed. Our safe got stolen. It was just horrific. So all 3 Bloodrayne were like most challenging in regards of keeping the mood up and keep shooting, So, and then when in regards of talent, I would say also Bloodrayne 1 was the most challenging one, with all the different actors and characters, and but Darfur, Attack on Darfur, maybe my best movie, it was hard to shoot because we had original Sudanese refugees. They played themselves, right? So you had women, they got raped, and now they're playing it in the movie again and get raped again. And it was very emotional also. Like most of the Sudanese actors, we took them out of the slums in Johannesburg, in Durban. Like they had nothing anymore. And they were like not like pampered by social welfare or something. They were like raped, the families got killed, and now they're sitting in the slums. Now we're coming and say, we want to make a movie with you about your situation, what you lived through, and we pay you $100 a day. You have to show again like how your family got killed and how you got raped and everything, and then we will walk away. And you maybe never hear from us again, and you never even see the movie in the slums, but this is a tough reality, but it was worth it, and they were very proud to be in that movie, and we made sure they watched the movie later with a screening what Chris Rowland organized in South Africa, and few of these people we helped out of South Africa. One woman is now in England and is a nurse and so on. So it was worth it. We helped people, but it was tough to shoot it, like to feel like, because I'm not a sensitive person, so I was very harsh to everybody. And my DP Matthias, he was really emotional affected and everything, and he said, we have to help these people, whatever. And I said, yeah, but I just helped these people right now because I raised the money and I spent the money and I paid 200 people out of the slums. I pay them every day the normal rate, like $100 a day, working with us in the movie, So yeah, but this was maybe most challenging with this. And script, of course, we had huge problems with Alone in the Dark with the script. You see it in the final movie. This was a big problem that stuff didn't work out, and I think Alone in the Dark was script-wise the worst thing I ever did. I have a real Twitter account. I think it's written on Twitter like, yes, I'm the real Uwe Boll. And you will see there's only one Uwe Boll who really twitters also articles. I twittered, for example, today about the indie horror TV thing. So I assume they will basically if you look for the indie horror TV Twitter from me, you are connected to the right Uwe Boll Twitter account. Wait here. I read that you've got some zombie flicks in the works. What can you tell us about them? What's your role in each of them? No, what I did is Zombie Massacre and Eaters from Luca and Marco from Italy. They produced the movies. I co-produced them. I do the world sales, and I gave them the right to Zombie Massacre, to the video game, and they shot the movie. And it comes out in US from E1 on DVD now, basically on Blu-ray. I think the release is in the next few weeks. And this zombie movie is actually really good. In Zombie Massacre, I play a cameo as the President of the United States. So it was a lot of fun to do it. And but they directed and they did the movies without me. And yeah. And so Left Cross as a boxer. I love boxing and I do some shadow boxing still, but I'm not actively boxing anymore. I have a titanium disc in my neck, C6. And this is enough, So, but I watch all the boxing, and I cannot wait to see the next Floyd Mayweather fight. And tomorrow is Martinez in Argentina on HBO. What I will also watch, So, and the Mr. Skeeter asked if I had a boxing background. Yeah, I boxed 14 years in Germany with Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen was a few times German amateur champ. I did not so many fights, but I never lost a fight. But I did hundreds and hundreds of sparring fights also. And so for me, boxing the critics was like, in a way, an easy task. But on the other hand, I had no clue who will come up. Are they sportive? Are they strong? They were definitely all way younger as me. And I had to box 4 people in one evening. And then I boxed another guy in Spain, and then for fun, Tim Leake from the Austin Film Festival in Austin. So it was a time after Postal where I did stuff like this as publicity stunt again. But overall, I'm done with it. And now I'm just keep staying fit and being a boxing fan. Have you ever had a film inspire you to be more creative in writing? I mean, I don't know if you mean my film or if you mean like that the film of myself inspired me to write different, or if it's another movie inspired me to write something. And I mean, all movies you watch, the good and the bad, you start thinking about it and you think, what can you do better? What can you do different? And I think this is the main point, it's I'm more a straight storyteller. If you see that movies like Rampage or whatever, you just follow what's going on. And Darfur, Stoic, also South of Wall Street. And I don't try to tell something in a miracle or in a, like something what you have to find out. Like I'm not a Tarkovsky or whatever. I'm more the straight in the face guy. And I mean, some people always say you would be. I'm more like a Sam Peckinpah was, right, or a John Ford, just showing how it is. And I love these filmmakers, and I love also other filmmakers, but I really like them, and I know this is more my style, and I think also I'm good at this. I'm like when it gets like in a way a little wild or over the top violent. Uh, I think the stuff in Rampage, I don't know a lot of people, they could do that better as I did that there. And I think other directors would never did it so harsh, you know, in the beauty salon, just shredder everybody, whatever. I don't think they would do it. And this is, I think I'm good at this. And at the same time, it's also more my style. So I'm happy that I was able to make that movie so the way I did it. Uh, I would love if indie horror TV, you know, could collaborate on projects. I mean, yeah, if they if indie horror TV finance it, I come down and direct something. It's tough to uh, to make movies this day. So there's no problem. We can always talk about doing something. Uwe, do you think there will ever be a time where a movie like Rampage could ever get a serious theatrical release in America? This is the problem. I think that time is over. You know, I think 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that time would be maybe there. Now I don't think it's happening anymore. There is no real word of mouth anymore, you know, and there is no small releases turning big anymore. Like the small releases we think are small releases are in reality also studio-driven releases where they spend 20, 30, 40 million for that release. And this is a huge problem in the business right now, that only the tentpole's working. You see the studios making less and less movies, but they're all bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is a huge problem. And I'm very pissed about it, because I always felt why good movies like a Rampage are not getting a better shot on in the thing. I mean, now my Soul on Wall Street, if you think about that movie, what comes out May 10, right? So if you think about that movie, it's the most important subject matter on earth. Like there's nothing more important as a financial crisis. There was nothing bigger. Like we are, Europe and US are deep in debt for years and generations to come because of the bailout 2008. And the bankers, a lot of bankers running around free. They got $50 million packages when they got fired. They are just rich, and they didn't have to give any money back, even if they damaged the the state finances and put America in debt so badly with trillions of dollars, like nothing else ever in history. You know, so not one war or whatever was ever so expensive as the bailout was, and it's just completely absurd that there was no accountability. Nobody had to pay, and it's absolutely not acceptable. And that grudge I had against it, that made me so furious that I felt there should be at least in a movie something like what was falling down, for example. And I felt the movie like Wall Street 2 sucked big time, and I felt like it needs a movie what really shows the people from the street. It has to be a movie for people that lost their houses, like the 7 million Americans that lost their houses in the bailout time, with foreclosures and everything. I mean, that movie is my movie, Soul on Wall Street, where the guy actually goes for it then, and he starts killing the bankers. And I think it was necessary to do it, and it's also necessary to scare people, you know, from time to time. And I'm very happy that movies can do this. I think it's good if movies can scare people. Uh, More specifically, without compromising the final product that you created. So yeah, this is a follow-up question, like why not theatrical releases? I mean, this is a thing, like on my bailout movie, like tons and tons of big actors passed on it before Dominic Purcell took the offer. You know, like tons of actors said, Viggo Mortensen, Mark Ruffalo, whatever, like tons of people said, oh, I cannot play that. Like, this is like, you are pro lynch system, like you pro self-justice. And I said, yeah, but if nobody else is doing it, I mean, like if the legal system fails, if nobody gets in jail, if everybody walks laughing away and you have everybody else gets poorer and poorer, it's ridiculous. So why not making a movie, radical movie, what shows that injustice and what is doing something against this, and this is exactly what I did in my movie, and I'm very proud of it. But that shows like a lot of the actors are just pussies. They don't go for radical stuff. They're all acting up like they do some radical stuff, but they don't do it. And it's like, I mean, look at Zero Dark 30, look at Argo, Oscar-nominated movies. They're like CAA advertising movies. They're like there's nothing in that what is critical, nothing what is risky, nothing what is anti-American, nothing what is in a way where you feel like, wow, he put the finger in a wound of something. Absolutely zero. It's like, I mean, they're both good movies, but both are propaganda also, you know. So for a few years there you were releasing 3 to 4 movies per year. How much time do you normally spend with pre-pro and shooting on an average project? So, I mean, I shot last year 3 movies. The Assault on Wall Street, In the Name of the King 3 in Bulgaria, and very end in December in the snow in Vancouver, suddenly with Ray Liotta and Dominic Purcell and Michael Paré. It's a remake of a Frank Sinatra, Sterling Hayden movie where the president of the United States, where they try to kill him when he comes through the small town suddenly. And but this year I will shoot not one movie, because I made the decision I want to wait up what's really going on in the market. I focus on sales of movies, and I want to see also results, because it cannot be better as my Assault on Wall Street movie, to be honest. It's like, this is the best movie, what everybody says, what I ever shot, and it's emotionally working. It's like Rampage, but you really care about the guy and you really feel sorry for his life. So on Rampage, I think you just watch and you're fascinated what's going on, but it's not that he's super sympathetic. But on Bailout, you could get the bigger crowd, you can get a bigger audience for it, because it's really, you identify yourself with that guy. But it doesn't work. It's like, no, like I get like a mini release, and then it goes VOD and DVD, and it will be not my Oscar running or whatever movie. And I know I cannot do better at this. And this is the thing, like, I'm tired of I'm tired of getting injustice reviews on good movies, like even Rampage or Darfur. I read some bad reviews about it, and Postal. I mean, I'm personally a big Postal fan, but I know that these are good movies, and I know that votes on IMDb or whatever is just bullshit, you know. And I'm tired of this. But the other thing is also that the distribution gets harder and harder, and that it's so tough to get the movies out there. And if you don't get the chance again after you made like very good movies in a row, then it's so frustrating that I feel like, you know what, then forget it. Then I don't shoot anything. So I really want to wait this year to see the results of the movies, financial results, and to see in what direction the market moves. So, and when you do 3 movies a year, it's only possible if you're still in post-production for a long time. Like, look, In the Name of the King 3, I shot last summer. We're still in post-production. It will take till August. We have a big dragon in it, a lot of CGI. It takes forever. So, but there is no reason to wait to pre-produce another movie or to shoot that Suddenly movie. Look, the Suddenly movie I shot in December. The movie is just finished completely with editing, with music. It's done. And In the Name of the King 3 takes 6, 7, 8 months longer to finish. And I don't see a problem to be in prep when you're in post-production for another movie. And what you cannot do is you cannot be in pre-production of a movie when you shoot still another movie. But look, that kind of movies in today's times, they're getting shot in like 15 to 20 days each. So it's not like a big deal. You shoot the movie, then you're already in post-production, and then you basically can go parallel into pre-production for another project. with the shots of the House of the Dead video games that made it into the films that obviously took a lot of negative flags from critics. What was your decision on one that came from studio or Sega? Yeah, we talked actually with Sega about it, and they found the idea also cool to get that stuff as like animation stuff in the movie, and I think in the end it's kind of a Andy Warhol over the top absurdity, and I would never do it again. But I think some stuff, whatever, when you have the guy, you film that in his eye is still the real movie running, and and then the guy throws the axe and so on. It's not so bad how it was written down, but it was the beginning. House of the Dead was the beginning of my downfall. You know, like the beginning where I got bashed into the toilet forever. So, if you had an unlimited budget to do a movie, would you ever do something experimental that you always wanted to do but couldn't because of money? Of course. I mean, I would love to be Bill Gates or something. You just can piss money in the wind and make the most expensive movie ever. I mean, can you imagine a movie like Rampage where like 10 people do what he's doing parallel in New York City, and you have the money from like I Am Legend or something, and you just shred the fucking Manhattan down to the ground, and you kill thousands of people, buildings, blows cars up, everything and bigger. I would love a movie like this, like a completely radical movie. What is so brutal, you know, also like NC-17, where people say, "Oh my God, you cannot watch it," and you just don't care because you have so much money and you don't care, but you did the ultimate movie to show, look, Michael Bay, this is how an action movie has to look like. So, you know, this would be so cool. Did you do any research into the Bloodrayne Nocturne games for subject matter for the film? Yeah, I played Bloodrayne 1, but also in Bloodrayne you don't really have a lot of gameplay, to be honest, right? So what I took out is the way she fights with the two swords, with the dress she has, how she looked like. This we took out of the game, and we created a completely different story. But I said always from the beginning on, I want to do a trilogy, so I want to do different Bloodrayne movies and explain not everything in the first episode. Spanky Daluf Monkey says Wall Street 2 was a whorish cash grab. Absolutely, like it was unbelievable. And I haven't liked Oliver Stone's work since JFK, I believe, from indie horror, and this is exactly how I feel. I think this guy sold completely out. I could not believe also the World Trade Center movie. It's like, I cannot fucking believe it. That my Oliver Stone with Natural Born Killers, JFK, like Salvador, you know, like a guy I really admired, and he completely lost it. Alexander was a disaster, and he totally sold out. And what I look like a Martin Scorsese also, of course, his best movies were all done 20 years ago, and not where the stuff he gets the Oscars for now. You know, like Hugo. I mean, why Martin Scorsese makes a movie like Hugo? But I love Martin Scorsese, right? But he never sold totally out. He always is doing quality. But Oliver Stone completely lost it and turned into shit, basically. And this is my problem I have with Oliver Stone now compared to Scorsese. Uwe, one more comment about Rampage. I personally loved it because it was uncompromising and the bad guy won in the end. This never happens anymore, especially in American movies. And I totally agree. And this is the reason I did the movie the way I did it, because I wanted to do something different. That's something what surprises me as an audience, where I would think I watch it and I sit there and think like, wow, what the fuck, you know, like this is what I love to do, and I did it with Rampage, and I'm very proud of it. Some of your movies didn't perform well at the box office. Do you attribute any of that to your distributors' handling of the films? And if so, would you ever consider distributing your movies yourself? I totally blame the distributors for it. You know, if you see House of the Dead, the first one what went wide out in US was actually a success, because they didn't put a lot of money in it. They released it only on 1,400 screens, but then it was, I think, number 4 on the weekend, and it made $12 million box office. So, and this was actually a real positive release. And then the same company, Lionsgate, bought Artisan. Artisan had House of the Dead, then it bought Artisan, then Lionsgate released Alone in the Dark with way more money. way more screens, and it completely tanked. And I think the whole House Alone in the Dark, the campaign was not good. And from this point on, they didn't believe in my movies anymore. And so Bloodrayne and In the Name of the King in US came out as like kind of independent releases. It was still with Universal or Fox or whatever, but it was not really. Like other people like Freestyle Entertainment, other companies booked the screens, and then the movie theaters, they don't really believe in independent distribution. They don't show your trailers, they don't hang out your poster, and then you're just dead. You know, like nobody cares. And I could see it. Like you could see the difference. In the Name of the King, in Germany was #2 in the box office after American Gangster on the weekend, and the second week we were #2 also. In Russia we were 2 weeks #1. In Spain we were #1. In Italy we were #1 on the opening weekend, and in US we were number like 11 on the opening weekend. You know, and that shows like the movies in US never got the support what they got in other countries, and I think this is one of the reasons it failed. I mean, In the Name of the King with Jason Statham, why that movie didn't make $40 million box office in US is for me an absolute disaster and a miracle also, because it's Jason Statham, it was action, a lot of big cast in it based on the Microsoft video game. If you would made a right campaign, that movie would made in US $40 million box office. But it didn't. But it worked in all other countries theatrical. It was in every other country what made a real release. It made it was #1, 2, or 3 in the box office, you know. And this is why I'm a little mad with it. I never got in US the treatment what other directors get, and the real release what I would need to do. And then with the better movies I did, like Rampage or Attack on the Four or whatever, they all say, oh, there's no A-list cast in it, and they don't see the movies, they see only who plays in it, and then they don't put the money behind it. Do you watch a lot of movies? How many do you see a typical week? Are you a tough critic yourself in general? Yeah, absolutely. I watch, you can say, every day a movie, you can say. I would say I watch 7 movies a week, sometimes more. Sometimes when I shoot a movie, for example, then I have 3 or 4 weeks where I watch no movies. But I watch everything what comes out. I do a lot of VOD, kind of Netflix style, and watch a lot of movies. And a lot of movies I scroll through or fast forward and stuff like this. But I follow up and watch everything what comes out, you know. So the good and the bad and the ugly. And so I think I have to see it, and I learn also from bad movies. But at the same time, you think, if that movie worked, what is that? Maybe I'm not a commercial director. You know, this is what I think sometimes. It's like I'm not thinking commercially enough, and maybe Michael Bay is that what everybody wants. You know, I still hope that Michael Bay is only that what the people. Because that movies are so expensive, they get so much advertising that is the reason people go and watch it. Not that the people actually enjoy it and like it later. Because this would be, for me, massively disappointing. You know, how can you like that movies? And you know, like, I mean, I just watched the Avengers. I think it's horrific. I don't know why they're doing another part. I think Iron Man, whatever, you have the first Iron Man. I love Robert Downey Jr. I love it, but then it gets redundant and it's ridiculous. Same with Thor. I liked Thor 1. I think the rest will be a disaster. No Hulk movie, no Superman movie was ever good. And I mean, the last Spider-Man, the new one now, what is it all necessary is the question. You know, the last Batman with Christian Bale, I think, was an embarrassment. I always couldn't watch it. I mean, it's like it's unbelievable what comes out there every week, and a lot of the stuff is actually almost unwatchable, and you're almost happy in today's time when something mediocre is coming up, because then you think, okay, this is okay. I mean, for me, the best movie, hands down, I watched and I would give the Oscars was Django. I think this was by far the best movie I saw. I think Silver Lining Playbook was amazingly acted, but a total mediocre TV movie story-wise, and totally I know how this will end from first second on. Lincoln is a long movie of the week, nothing else. There's nothing new in it. and it's only for all the Oscars because Daniel Day-Lewis played it. I mean, The Hobbit, unbelievable, boring, unwatchable, and then the Life of Pi, great CGI, looks great, was interesting to watch, but also like, I mean, what is that? You know, bullshit story will never happen in real life. I don't know what the, you know, I don't know what the inspiration of it is. The inspiration is, yes, survive, otherwise you're dead. You know, like, I mean, what the fuck? It's totally absurd. And naja, but this is only my personal opinions, and not everybody has to have that opinions. The bad guy wins way more often in real life, unfortunately. American cinema truly doesn't represent sheer fantasy. Lionsgate, if it's not Saw, they don't care. They screwed Midnight Meat Train over Superbad a few years back, opened it in a dollar budget theater just to fulfill the theatrical release obligation. Yeah, there's also stuff gets dumped, and it is also like disastrous a lot of times, and Lionsgate dumped Alone in the Dark. And I mean, Saw also, like, my, I loved the first Saw and felt like, wow, something completely new. And then they were writing that thing every year. And the people are so stupid, they go every year in the same shit. I cannot believe it. Are studios taking creativity away by trying to model their movies for teenagers and dumber audience? Absolutely. I mean, they totally are now run by Nielsen, basically, you know, like by trackings, and not by somebody has an idea and is doing that movie. It's yeah. This is the thing, like what Spanky here writes, so there's only one sure things anymore. This is the thing. And this destroys movies, right? That it's like getting down more in that direction of everybody, like, we need that audience, and then the only other audience they from time to time go for are the older females, like for that romantic comedies or whatever, the over 30 females. They're getting then from time to time the Meryl Streep movie or the other romantic comedies, you know, and everything else is almost exactly the same. This is the reason why I love the movie like Django, you know, because it was just like a real guy's movie where you as an adult love it to watch it because it had good dialogue, good acting, it was brutal action. I loved it totally, you know, and not that stupid movies what you get every single weekend where you think like, why I should watch that, you know. So you mentioned VOD on Netflix. How do you think you change your approach to distribution with the way the digital platforms are changing the ways that filmmakers are able to connect directly with your audience? Yeah, I mean, this is the good thing is that VOD makes it worldwide easier to distribute movies, to get movies out. For example, my movie Auschwitz, I didn't get a DVD deal, and now Ascot Media and Comcast will just release it on VOD. And in earlier years, without DVD deal, I would not get any US deal for that movie. And so VOD opens new ideas, new platforms, new possibilities. Also with Netflix expansion to Europe, you can just sell to Netflix various territories. This is a good thing. The very, very bad thing is that nobody really pays for it a lot of money and you get almost nothing. I mean, in earlier years at Blockbuster, one rental was $5. So you, as a filmmaker, you got $1.50 per rental from Blockbuster if you had revenue share or Hollywood Video. And now it is basically on Netflix or iTunes or this kind of platforms, you end up with less than 10 cents per view. And I mean, how you want to survive that? I mean, how as a producer you can make movies, you know? And then, I mean, we're going totally in a direction of a world where you have the $150 million movie and you have the $150,000 movie. And the my world as Uwe Boll, or like the independent film world, for people, they work professional with budgets between 1 and 20 million. That level of movie shrinks down, and it totally has no survival chance anymore. Theatrical releases getting more and more expensive in US. Most of the people are not doing that anymore or getting that anymore. And so, I mean, this is a real big problem in the in our film world right now, basically, you know. So I was lucky; I could make a lot of movies, and I know so many directors that need 3, 4, 5 years to make a movie, and they struggle, and nothing really happens. You know, even big directors. Look at Wolfgang Petersen. After The Perfect Storm, he was done. No, not The Perfect Storm. The Poseidon Inferno. He was done. You know, as a director with Troy, with Perfect Storm, with he made huge movies. You know, and starting with Das Boot, he went to Hollywood, and now you make one flop, and you're used to get bigger budgets or whatever, and so he's waiting for a big budget movie, or he's waiting for another good paid job, and says, "I'm not working for under this amount of price." So and that means Wolfgang Petersen is not shooting any movies anymore at all. Period. You know. So I mean, Poseidon Inferno was an easy 8 years ago. So this guy made 8 or 10 years no movie. You know. So and he's old now. It's maybe over, and this is too bad. But this is the way the world we're living in. So even famous directors are not shooting anything anymore. Sure. And yeah, I hope I still will make a few more movies before I die. Yeah, so I don't see any other questions here. Yeah, so just if there's no more questions, we can finish it up. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you recommend Rampage. I hope people watch, at least on VOD, Attack on Darfur, Watching Out for Auschwitz, Assault on Wall Street, AK Bailout, and so watch the movies I really care, and maybe start a crowdfunding for Postal 2, because this will be the only chance that we will ever do Postal 2, and this would be actually fun to do, you know. So I would love to do Postal 2. I think the world deserves Honey Boo Boo Must Die. So now yeah. Thank you so much for joining us over. You could stick around and watch the next film. Next film is one of the best of the last year. Thank you, Uwe. Yeah, and I would watch it, but I have to bring my 4 years old son to bed because he's still not sleeping without me. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and keep me in the loop. And yeah, we can do that anytime again with another movie. Maybe do the Auschwitz one. It's worth it. I mean, it's absolutely horrific. It's one day in Auschwitz from the train in the oven, but I think absolutely necessary, and people would maybe also talk about that a lot. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Then good night. And this was it. Can I hang up actually? Is that a problem? Or is it? I don't know. I don't want to hang up if I'm not allowed to hang up, but if you say hang up.